This is a Saturday morning TV log from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Welcome to another Saturday morning TV log, and this time around it's Midnight Patrol Adventures in the Dream Zone, brought to us by Hanna-Barbera and Sleepy Kids PLC. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm the Big D, and this is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So this week's Saturday morning TV log is on another very underrated animated series from the 90s. It's Midnight Patrol Adventures in the Dream Zone, or Potsworth and Company to y'all in the UK. Which, of course, this was changed for certain, which that name was used in the UK for certain reasons. For a certain reason, because, well, the BBC felt that the suggestion of children being awake after midnight was inappropriate, which is reflected in the theme song's lyrics in the British broadcast. Thus, the name was changed to Potsworth and Company. Now, the show was produced by Hanna-Barbera along with Sleepy Kids PLC, which, of course, is currently entertainment rights, whereas it's now been merged into, well, which has been part of classic media. The show originally started on September 2nd, 1990. It was shown on BBC One and the Children's Channel in the UK, whereas it originally was shown on the Funtastic World of Hanna-Barbera here in the US. And yes, I saw this was the last show that aired following the Adventures of Don Coyote and Sancho Panda, which was also new to the blog, which that show has yet to be covered on here, but I will get to that eventually. Now, the show is about four children who meet in their dreams every night, accompanied by their dog and a toy dinosaur to protect the sleep of the innocent from the dread Nightmare Prince. Anyway, Potsworth is an English Springer Spaniel. Based upon a real life Springer Spaniel called Potsworth, bought from the Battersea Dogs home by Martin and Vivian Schrager Powell. The couple were somewhat disheartened with some of the children's programs being made at the time, commenting that 6 years old just aren't content to be fobbed off with Mr. Wizard go poop and Nasty Man go away. Well, stories these days have to be believable and contain some logical process. In '87, Martin started writing stories about Potsworth, who lives in a city in America, and four young children. They are Carter, Keiko, Rosie, and Nick. Now, a couple took the idea to animation giant Hanna-Barbera and suggested a 50-50 deal to turn the stories into a TV series. Now, of course, it originally started on Funtastic World. Actually, a day before it even came out, it originally started on September 1st. Originally, while it only lasted 13 episodes, it was, however, watched by 8.5 million in the US, while 5.1 million watched the series on children's BBC in Britain, making it the second most popular children's show on British television after Neighbours. Eventually, the real Potsworth became something of a celebrity when he featured extensively in the British media as part of the promotion campaign for the cartoon series when it first aired in the UK. A comic adaptation of Potsworth and Company was featured in the merged Beezer and Topper, which I'm trying to check my source, which originally started out as the Beezer, which it was a British comic that had been around since 1956 until it ended in 1993. Now, but however, when that comic closed, the Dandy did onwards until 1994. The series setting called Dream Zone was actually first used on the NBC Saturday Morning Preview Special from 1985, Back to Next Saturday. Now, of course, each week the Midnight Patrol and Potsworth, well, they live in the same neighborhood. When they go to sleep, they turn up in the Dream Zone. Whereas the titular group, they are appointed by the Grand Dozer to protect it from nightmares and other threats, and are given missions by the Snooze Patrol. Their main enemy is the Nightmare Prince. Whilst they're in the Dream Zone, they have special powers. Keiko has a flying skateboard. Carter can draw anything and then have it come to life with a big paintbrush. Nick is super strong and is able to fly, while his stuffed toy Murphy comes to life, whilst his cynical sister Rosie tags along. Potsworth himself acquires the power of speech, which enables him to complain about the way he's treated in the real world and make wry comments about the kids and their own attitudes and relationships. The cartoon Potsworth had a very English accent, even in the American version of the series, reflecting his real life counterpart's British origins. After the show had gone on to be run, it did, I believe it continued in reruns until the birth of Cartoon Network, which was the only place that aired it, I think, for its first couple of years. But after that, the show has never been seen again, not even on Boomerang. And this is a very rare gem of Hanna-Barbera's, and I feel like this, like I said, a very underrated title. There was also an officially licensed computer game for the series using the British title, produced by High Tech Software for the ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, Commodore 64, and Atari ST. It's a scrolling platform game. The player took on the role of the characters in each themed level and had to collect various items and then reach the exit. I've only seen a bit of that though, but it's been years since I last ever watched Midnight Patrol, and I gotta say this show is definitely a long lost gem. But it has been found. There are some episodes currently on YouTube. As this, it's actually one Hanna-Barbera show that's not owned by the you know who. I'm not saying the name because I don't want to get in trouble with them again. I got a feeling this show is actually, since Sleepy Kids PLC is now entertainment rights, so that means it's probably under license by Classic Mia, which of course later got merged in with DreamWorks through Universal from Comcast company. But I could be wrong though. We'll figure it out someday. After this, Hanna-Barbera Home Video released a single VHS cassette of the series in the US entitled Potsworth and the Midnight Patrol, containing 4 episodes: Save the Cave, The Wishing Whale, King Potsworth, and The Nightmare. I got a feeling I think that full vid's on YouTube, but or it could be someone else's. I'm not sure if it was if there was any physical media on there, but that's the only physical media I know of that has been released in the US of this series. This has never been released on DVD, nor is it streaming on anywhere. So YouTube's probably your best chance to find it. There was an overall total of 13 episodes. So I'd say if you're into stuff with, well, fun-filled fantasy dreams for kids and what have you, then I think you'll feel right at home with Midnight Patrol. I think you'll really like it if you give it a shot. Definitely. Now, of course, as I've already mentioned, for the main group, Potsworth, of course, is a sarcastic 10-year-old English Springer Spaniel who is the leader. Yeah, he's the actual leader of the group. His owner is Carter, who's a 10-year-old African American boy who is an expert artist. Henceforth, that's why he got a big magic paintbrush that can bring many things to life. The next member of the group is Keiko, a 9-year-old Japanese American girl who rides a flying skateboard in the Dream Zone. She's energetic and very optimistic and likes to be seen as the leader of the group. Then we've got Nick, who's only 6 and is a flying superhero when he's in the Dream Zone, and sometimes referred to as Super Nick. Then there's this toy brontosaurus who comes to life in the Dream Zone, Murphy. But then, of course, the last member is his 8-year-old sister, Nick's 8-year-old sister, Rosie, who's a rude, annoying brat who gives the group a very hard time, though she still helps out in dangerous situations. She calls her brother Nick by his full name, Nicholas, whenever she yells at him. which is quite often. She's the only member of the group without a special ability. Now, other characters we see are the Grand Dozer, the king of the Dream Zone, but he spends his time half asleep on top of a pile of mattresses. He has to stay this way because if he were to be fully awake, the Dream Zone will come to an end. He gives advice, but in the form of riddles, which can be a bit of a frustration. There's lots of others in the Dream Zone. There's Sebastian, the Grand Dozer's head butler, the Greystone Giant, a giant made of rock who lives in a cave filled with various objects which he supplies for people's dreams, and the Nosy Bird, a talking bird who enjoys spreading gossip. Then, of course, the Nightmare Prince, the main antagonist. He's always coming up with ways of disrupting the Grand Dozer's sleep or other nasty schemes in order to allow nightmares to take over the dreams. Though he is such a bungling idiot that his plans can fail due to his own incompetence. And he has three dimwit potato-shaped minions, Igor, Irving, and Shorty. And well, there's also his mother, but she's unseen though, always following him up at times. But anyway, there's many others and what have you. So overall, now you can tell about the characters of the Midnight Patrol. Now I've shown you the characters from in the actual tile screen. Now then, for our cast, we have, let's see, voicing Potsworth is Clive Reville, whom we sadly lost last March. He was a New Zealand actor who did lots of performances, like in musicals like Oliver, as well as the film adaptation of Avanti. May he rest in peace. Then there's Whitby Hertford voicing Nick. Now, of course, he's currently a theater writer, and an actor still, because he's done several things. Because, well, before Midnight Patrol, he was recently seen on sitcoms like Empty Nest, Mr. Belvedere, Full House, and The Munsters Today. He also, that same year, he would go on to voice Michael Darling in Fox's Peter Pan the Pirate. He also lent his voice to cartoons like Tailspin, Tiny Toon Adventures, and Disney's Little Mermaid as well. He also lent his voice from a later Hanna-Barbera show, which was Two Stupid Dogs. Next, voicing Keiko is Janice Kawai, who that name does sound familiar. Who also that same year would go on to voice Guy on Captain Planet. And of course, she also lent her voice to shows like Bump in the Night, Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego, All Grown Up, Megas XLR, and Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi. Yeah, that's real exciting. I didn't realize it was her. And voicing Rosie is young Elizabeth Arnois, who recently voiced Zoe in the studio's Fantastic Max, which was still being rerun at the time. That same year, she would also appear in live action form as Emily in another Hanna-Barbera show, which was their direct-to-video series, Timeless Tales from Hallmark. After this in Midnight Patrol, she would later go on to play Alice on Disney's Adventures in Wonderland. And would go on to do lots of other shows, including the original CSI. But there were lots of other voice actors. Amongst them included Charles Adler, you'd know him as Charlie Adler, Hamilton Camp, who voiced the Grand Dozer, Michael Bell voiced Sebastian. Then there's Brian Cummings and Jim Cummings, Pat Fraley, Dorian Harewood, Joan Gerber, Scott Minville, Howard Morris. He's credited as Howie Morris, actually. Rob Paulson, Hal Smith, B.J. Ward, Frank Welker, and more. So overall, Midnight Patrol, while it's not one of the most popular Hanna-Barbera shows out there, but nevertheless, it still proves to be pretty fun and what have you. It's a fun show and it has great characters. I really do like this show, but again, I feel like this is easily an underrated gem in my book. So trust me, if you really like something like this, or maybe if you like the anime film Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland, then maybe you want to give this show a shot. Like I said, there are some episodes currently on YouTube. I'm not sure if all of them are there. I think most of them are there. Some of them may have the Midnight Patrol intro, or some may have the British version of Potsworth and Company. You be the judge. But anyway, Midnight Patrol, I think is awesome. I think you'll like it if you give it a whirl. So, what did you think of Midnight Patrol? Did you ever watch this when you were a kid? If so, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. And apologies if, geez, it unfortunately snowed, which means I failed to go see a movie. I was planning to go see the new movie Mercy today, but due to the snowstorm that more recently occurred in my area, I failed to. So no problem. I do have plans to check out another film, and I'll have a review of it up tonight. Okay? Good. Thanks for your understanding, everyone. So anyway, if you like this, you may want to consider checking out some of these other bits. I can give you the two I talked about featuring the voice of Elizabeth Harmois, plus her appearance. In the upper left-hand corner is a Saturday Morning TVLog on Fantastic Max, which actually you can now watch on Tubi as a matter of fact. Or you can go to the upper right-hand corner and check out my Do You Remember episode of Timeless Tales from Hallmark. Or if you would like, maybe you can go to the bottom left-hand corner and you can check out one of my earlier Saturday Morning TVLogs. And it's a show that was actually still being rerun on the Funtastic World when this show came out. And it's, well, the 1980 Hanna-Barbera classic of Richie Rich. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the Saturday Morning TVLog, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Next week will be a Saturday Morning TVLog special where I'll be talking about the long-lost shows from 1976, McDuff, The Talking Dog, and Muggsy. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying see ya.